wanted to make this video a little earlier, but unfortunately I got a little sick. But I am at the tail end of my sickness, and I wanted to get this video out because it is holiday related and I didn't want to wait too long until we hit into like 2023. So here goes. As we all know, December is the time for Christmas music, but I know a lot of places around the world start a little early, like into October these days. I don't even know why. I mean, even just starting to play Christmas music in November is a bit much because we haven't even hit Thanksgiving yet. But yeah, I know at this point everyone's kind of tired of Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You being played to the extent of like Hello by Adele back in the day and a bunch of other songs that kind of hit that whole like repeat on the radio kind of deal. So I finally got my hands on the long awaited Backstreet Boys Christmas album. This has been a very long awaited album because if you're from my generation, you were pretty familiar with the battle of the boy bands, NSYNC versus Backstreet Boys. And for me, during that time, I kind of liked them both equally, but I did kind of lean more towards Backstreet Boys music a bit more. I mean, NSYNC was like super like mainstream poppy kind of music, whereas Backstreet Boys was more like edgy poppy. I don't know how to say it. Like they're more like laid back, but their lyrics were a bit like less family friendly, if you could say that. So for a time, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC had like this sort of like competition to like one up each other. Like when NSYNC come out with their album, and the Backstreet Boys come out with their own album, and it kind of came to a head around like the early 2000s. And I think after Celebrity, NSYNC decided to retire. And to an extent, Backstreet Boys kind of left the music scene with the Black and Blue album. So for a time, like people thought like Backstreet Boys kind of retired too. So they kind of ended like the early 2000s on a high note. But whereas NSYNC didn't come back after Celebrity, Backstreet Boys actually came back after Black and Blue, which was a little surprising because you would think they'd be done with the whole boy band thing. But yeah, they released another album. People thought, oh, maybe we might finally get the long-awaited Backstreet Boys Christmas album, because back in 1998, NSYNC came out with their own Christmas album, which is, to this day, is still pretty lit. I mean, they do have a lot of like classics, like the typical Christmas songs, Home for Christmas, The First Noel, and then Holy Night, but then they made like a bunch of like original songs, like Under My Tree, I Never Knew a Meaning of Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I always spam my friends and family with that music video just to like, keep the Mariah Carey at bay. And yeah, it's still a banger Christmas album. And after NSYNC released it in 1992, everyone's like, okay, now Backstreet Boys got to counter with their own Christmas album. I mean, the closest they got was Last Christmas on like a compilation Christmas album in 2000. It was an okay song. I kind of expected more from them. And then in like 2012, they came out with like It's Christmas Time Again, which was pretty good. But again, still no sign of an album. So a lot of Backstreet Boys fans, myself included, were like, okay, guys, where's your Christmas albums? Like NSYNC released their Christmas album back in 1998. We're really into the 2010s, and there's still no Christmas album coming from them. Time went on. I think they released a few more albums, which didn't quite feel Backstreet Boys. Like I've listened to them. Never Gone it was okay, but it was like the turning point in their style of music. And then there was like This Is Us, which a lot of people, like a lot of old school Backstreet Boys fans didn't care for because it did feel very like Jesse McCartney in style, which I feel doesn't fit Backstreet Boys. And then no, that was Unbreakable. So it's Never Gone, Unbreakable, and then This Is Us. And then the next one was like DNA, and it still had like that Jesse McCartney like feel to it. This Is the World or something like that, and DNA. And I don't know, I kind of felt a little disappointed with their last few albums, and again, no word of any Christmas albums. So I was like, okay, finally, after 24 years of waiting, after the NSYNC Christmas album, we finally have the Backstreet Boys Christmas album. And it does have It's Christmas Time Again, which I've been hoping for because they haven't released that on an album. It's been like a single release, but it hasn't been released on an album. So everyone's like, okay, you got like Last Christmas and It's Christmas Time Again. When are you guys going to make more songs to make a full album? And finally, after 24 years of waiting, we've got it, and it's a little disappointing. I mean, the only original songs they have on here is Together, Happy Days, and It's Christmas Time Again. Like, Last Christmas isn't their original one, though. It's like a already established Christmas song, so I don't really count that. So, out of all the Christmas songs on this album, only 3 of them were like originals, whereas on NSYNC, it was like 14 songs. 11 songs on this album are original Christmas songs, compared to only 3 out of 15 on the Backstreet Boys album. And this is like the Target exclusive one. If you get like the standard version, like 2 of the songs will be missing. So it adds 2 more songs, of one of which was an original song, which is It's Christmas Time Again, which was what we were expecting. So I was like, why is that an extra? That should have been a default lineup in your Christmas album. So don't know what happened there, Backstreet Boys. So yeah, listen to the old album, and I know it's not opened, but it's like, I've listened to it on Spotify. It's okay, but if you were to ask me like which one you want to pop into the CD player, yes, I still have my CD player. Thank you very much. I'm gonna have to go with NSYNC, which is kind of sad because I feel Backstreet Boys could have made a good Christmas album with like It's Christmas Time Again being like the headliner for their style of Christmas music, and for them to have waited 24 years to release this, first of all, and then for them to deliver only 3 original songs, with the rest of them being like just, already established commercial Christmas songs, is kind of, it's pretty disappointing. And like the 3 originals are good, but I wish the whole album was as good as that. Like really compared to NSYNC, I was a little disappointed. So in terms of Christmas albums, I'm sorry Backstreet Boys, but really NSYNC is king. NSYNC still is king when it comes to like mostly original like songs for a Christmas album. I guess Battle of the Boy Bands is really comes down to quality over quantity, and unfortunately Backstreet Boys chose not to retire as NSYNC did, and I don't think it's really worked out very well for them. I'm kind of interested in making like a comparison videos of their albums throughout the years, because I've got most of them. I don't have the very first Backstreet Boys album though, so that one might be a little like hard to compare the albums since I have all the NSYNC ones. That's my Raptor rant to finish off the year. Backstreet Boys, why we had such high hopes after 24 years. This is what you guys delivered on. Well, I mean, people are still waiting for Half-Life 3, and who knows if Valve would actually deliver on that, or whether or not it's going to be a disappointment. But yeah, that'll be all for now. Till next time, this is Zero Raptor signing off. Laters.